The following podcast contains strong language and ridiculous cartoon scenarios conjured up by two self-proclaimed comedy wizards. Between you and me, they're more like Saturday morning court jesters fueled by sugary cereal. But either way, the opinions expressed and presented are mere musings, so please humor their well-intentioned hijinks with a laugh and not by taking anything they say seriously. Unless, of course, you want to pay them to say something else. Could always use a new pair of shoes.
Hello and welcome to ReviewParty.com. I'm Brent.
I'm Matt.
This is the only podcast on the internet in the comedy genre. I imagine you found yourself here because you like comedy. You are one of the few out there still enjoying comedy in this modern world. And no, I am not going to spin that into some anti-woke message. I am simply being facetious. I'm Brent.
I'm Matt, again.
Did I say that already?
Yeah.
I'm sure the audience was so lost in what
We're lost in the dark. Yeah, exactly. We're in a cave.
The non-meaning to my words can lose anyone. Anyway, this is a comedy podcast. It's about reviews on the internet, like from places like Amazon, Google. We read the review. Then the comedy comes. Hopefully during the review, but mostly after.
It's kind of like a byproduct, you know? You got milk, it can become curds and whey, it can become cheese. Right. So many things.
Compost the reviews before your eyes into a plentiful harvest of comedy manure. And then we rub it all over our bodies and ritualistically summon comedy. We use the comedy to summon more comedy. Anyway, I have a review. I'll start this week.
Let me hear it.
A simple review for a simple product.
And a simple boy.
That's me. Just a propeller beanie hat wearing, suspenders having.
Hey, mister.
Simpleton. This is an Amazon review.
Wait. Let me just stop. My friend Tom is he's going to let us paint his fence. You believe that? What a deal.
Bro, I've been wanting to paint something for the longest time. You seen that Mona Lisa? I'm trying to do that, but on a fence, but with one color.
Call me a simple boy, but that sounds like a good deal to me.
Man, I would pay that guy to paint that fence. That's how much I want to do it.
Anyway, sorry, my simple boy moment is over. The review.
You heard simple boy in overalls and you just had to make a fence painting joke. Honey Nut Cheerios, heart-healthy cereal, gluten-free cereal with whole grain oats, 10.8 ounces. This is Amazon's choice Honey Nut. It's looking like you're even getting the limited edition heart-shaped Cheerios right now. Very topical. Oh, boy. This is from Karen. She titles her review, Tasty. We needed this box of Honey Nut Cheerios because we forgot to pick one up at the grocery store. Plus, Amazon guaranteed it for next day, and it came the next day. We always eat the Honey Nut Cheerios because this cereal makes us go regular. We always count on Cheerios for a great breakfast every day. 5 stars.
Okay. Where do I even begin?
It's unlike breakfast. It's hard to know where to begin. Or unlike your day, which usually begins with breakfast. Right.
First, I'm going to start with, I'm pretty sure, like, the FDA or something reviewed its guidelines, and they say, guess what? Many of those cereals you once thought were healthy, sorry to break this to you, but not actually as healthy as you thought.
Uh-huh.
And I'm pretty sure, like, Cheerios, Raisin Brans, all of them, not as healthy as you thought. They're still good. I mean, it's better than eating just like a Pop-Tart, I imagine.
Sure.
But
yeah, people like to talk a lot of shit about Taco Bell for having sawdust meat. What do you think cereal is? Actual sawdust. Fiber, they call it. Speaking of unhealthy cereal, not to derail us, but I did have some Oreo cereal this morning for the first time in a long time.
Oh.
Did not get my milk that chocolatey. That was the only disappointment. Other than that, fantastic.
Oh my goodness. Well, no, as long as we're derailed on cereals. I was at the Jewel the other day.
The Jewel.
The Jewel, killing some time. And I'm walking down the cereal aisle, of course, because I want to see all the... There are so many, like, Cocoa Puffs bits, Trix bits, Fruity Pebbles bits.
How can you
Pebble
Fruity Pebble, yeah, the Pebble's already at its bittiest.
It is they're little balls. That is completely beside the point, though. They had some Reese's Puffs, and I'm like, okay, this box looks limited edition. Let me check the back, and it has you go scan some code or some garbage like that. And I thought, this is the end. This is when the world stops being good, because rather than give me entertainment on the box itself,
sure,
it's just this, pull out your phone and do it all there.
Get our cereal morning breakfast activity app instead of just having some cartoons to stare at on the back of the box.
I will look at the same box of Cap'n Crunch every single day just to look at that ship the guys do on the balance beams and stuff. Oh my, give me that.
Maybe they know it's we're boomers now, dude. It's the iPad kid era. Have you seen those kids?
I don't see kids ever. Anyway, cereal that makes you regular.
That's really the thing, isn't it?
I was wondering, why do they need Cheerios so bad that you had, we just got back from Kroger and we didn't get our Honey Nuts? Man, we got to get on Amazon Stat and make sure, even though they guarantee it's delivered next day, that it is the next day.
We cannot go one day without these Honey Nuts.
Or we won't go number 2.
We won't go number 2. It's all going to be thrown off. Who knows what sort of madness our rear ends will be taking in without the daily consumption of these Honey Nuts.
I'm not sure if you know this, but there are literally no source of fiber on the planet other than a box of Honey Nut Cheerios. That's why back in The Wire, you remember Omar went down to like Mexico or something, and he's like, oh man, you only got the regular Cheerios? I want them Honey Nuts. Mm-hmm. And that's why he had to go all the way back to Baltimore and get killed. Sorry for anyone who hasn't seen The Wire, but come on, catch it. I've seen it, so you...
My man went all the way back to Baltimore to get some Honey Nuts. They can't even make a trip back to the store to grab them.
So I'm just so shaken.
I just feel bad about the lack of options, right?
That's the thing.
If I went to the grocery store with the intention of getting cereal among the groceries, and I forgot cereal, I may think, damn it, I forgot the cereal. But the next morning, if I don't feel like going back, and that's the key phrase, don't feel like. I definitely have the ability if it's a necessity, but I'm probably just going to put a little bagel in the toaster. Chances are I plan on getting more than one breakfast option if I'm doing the total grocery run.
Your house must have options. You were telling me that Honey Nut Cheerios are integral to your daily life, your daily bowel movements, and you have worked it all the way to you've completely depleted your stock of Honey Nut Cheerios. You don't have like multiple boxes and you can count like, okay, I've got 2 more weeks, but it's time to go shopping again. You fully you've spent all your stock of Honey Nut Cheerios. You're a poor planner. That's all I'm
a brand loyal guy. I'm a product loyal fellow, right? I rarely go name brand for the stuff I like. I'm going to get the stuff I like. I will partake in a Honey Nut scooter every now and then, because them bitches is the same. Some brand names, or some name brands, off brands are not the same. You can't tell me they are. You can't tell me a Faygo Cola tastes the same as a Pepsi, bro. No shot. But them scooters be bussin'. Which is to my point. Even though there's some brands I love and choose, I'm not getting them every other week for a whole year, bro. I need a little, even though Honey Nut Scooters is my go-to, don't mean I'm gonna break it up with a little cookie crisp in the rotee. You know what I'm saying?
Honeycomb, some Golden Graham, some Smacks.
Sure. Or even, I would get tired of just the honey sweetness. I would want a little, maybe a fruited loop, perhaps. What are the that bag cereal brand of Fruit Loops? What do they call them? Fruity Loopers? What the hell?
I want to say that's probably, yeah, Fruity Loopers.
Fruit Circles? Fruit Circles sound about right. So yeah, man, they've made themselves reliant. Prisoners to the Honey Nut Cheerio. And that's something I would never want to happen to myself.
Well, as long as we're talking about being regular, making yourself prisoner to something you don't want to be made prisoner to, just by complete circumstance was referenced before we started recording. I have a Goodreads review for a book titled "If You Give a Mouse a Cookie," which was written by Laura Joff Numeroff. Well, that's a sick name. And this review is from Chris. Chris writes, "If you give a mouse a cookie, he's probably going to poop all over your kitchen counter. When he's done pooping all over your kitchen counter, he'll probably take up residence in your pantry, invite his girlfriend over, and have himself a nice little family in a matter of weeks. He's certainly not going to do all the cute things this book suggests. Last night I read this to my son and then tucked him and his 15 stuffed animals, one of which is most likely a mouse, into bed. Then I went downstairs, spread a dollop of peanut butter on a mousetrap, and placed it on the kitchen counter. 1 a.m., snap! This morning, I tossed the dead mouse into a trash bag and set another trap. Tonight, I will again read this book to my son, and then we'll probably sing the Mighty Mouse theme song. Last year, when I was less skilled at setting mouse traps, I was running around my driveway with a shovel, trying to end the misery for a mouse who had nearly ripped his leg off trying to escape the trap. My nosy neighbor, who was returning from picking his son up from school, asked me what was going on. I explained that our house was infested with mice, and I was on a mission that day to kill them all, whether by trap, shovel, or bare hands. His son didn't like the look on my face and turned to go into his house. That's when I noticed his Mickey Mouse book bag and matching lunchbox. Troy Patterson of Slate once said this, quote, "A literal pest has become the cuddliest creature in the world, and that, to paraphrase Walter Matthau, exemplifies the worst aspects of marketing that make America great." End quote. They are not cute. They are not heroes. They are the exact fucking opposite of that. But I must say that my son really does like this book. 3 stars.
Homie is pressed over a rodent, over a small mammal, dude.
Multiple, potentially.
Sure. And I would not be happy if my home was infested with any sort of creature I did not invite there.
Right. Right. If you've invited it, that's fine.
But he has certainly got a lot of beef with a small animal that operates on instinct and not any sort of moral compass. If the mouse knew that it was inconveniencing you, it probably wouldn't inconvenience you, bro. But it has no brain power to be able to establish those sorts of things.
Morality does not factor into the mouse's decisions.
Yeah, and I really hate, there's a lot of good-ass mouse characters out there.
Right, this isn't exactly Despero we're talking about here.
Yeah.
It's not Ralph.
We're talking about Mickey Mouse, all right? He likes to whistle and ride on a steamboat, not break into your house and accidentally die to your evil traps.
Some dads they find that thing that they're going to obsess over.
Sure. It makes me sad. This dude just needs a hobby.
Little model cars or something. Kid isn't old enough for the Pinewood Derby yet. That's the problem. If he were, then obviously the mouse would get in the Pinewood Derby car. Brrr, you'd have a real gas.
If this guy applied his energy that he's applying to murdering small creatures to train sets, well, maybe he could create a train set that the mice like to ride, and then he could just make the train set leave his house, drop him off outside.
Sort of a Pied Piper with locomotives. That
Right, they put a little cheese on one of the carts, a weighted step on the cheese, but instead of springing a trap that tries and breaks its spine through force, it just makes part of the track go right instead of left, and then leads outside.
Right.
Nice
I want to be very clear. The mice are taken someplace lovely. This train ride does not lead to their destruction.
No, it doesn't lead into sort of an incinerator.
No.
It will go outside, make a nice stop. They had a nice cheese meal for their trouble, and they can move on. That's what I think should happen.
I like that idea.
That's what I'm saying.
Because as opposed to destroying, you are creating a sense of harmony, creating a sense of wonder and magic.
Yeah.
Everyone's walking by in the woods. They're like, you see that little train that let out a bunch of mice over there? Suddenly you're in a magical movie.
If you walk by your neighbor's house and there's, you hear a cuckoo clock and see a little train come out of there and drop off a mouse who scurries into the distance, into the woods perhaps, you would think, wow, that's how pioneering,
That makes life better.
That's what I think too. But until, mice aren't smart enough to understand morality, but they are smart enough to understand where to get some cheese when they find a bunch of cheese there. So maybe inadvertently, if you do that, all you're doing is opening a mouse amusement park. And so maybe it wouldn't be exactly what you wanted.
Well, you'd be doing a service either way.
Yeah, I think so. Win-win. Oh, God. I saw this in my notes when I titled this review. I'll read the product and then say. I couldn't help but click on it. I was like, which one next? It has to be this one. This is an Amazon review for Live and Let Orc, a modern monster daddy romance.
Oh.
Return of the Horde, Book 1. I titled it in my notes, Horny Orcs. The cover page is not that exciting, so we won't do our usual cover page. It's just...
What a shame.
Yeah, it just does Live and Let Orc and some, I guess, I don't know, font. There's some font. It says Live and Let Orc, but what is great about this one is Renee Rayardin's review. I will precursor this. We usually go with pretty positive reviews of these books. We're not usually on the side of the people that write these reviews. We're sort of outside looking in, being like, all right, this is what they're into. But Renee might be on our side. Maybe. And maybe we'll think she's gone too far. We'll see. I don't want to say any more, but I'm going to keep saying more because it's my job on a podcast. They title it, We've Got Orcs. They write, I'm always interested in storylines with new worlds, new species, interspecies relationships. Anything creative and well written across multiple genres, really. Heroine, strong, snarky, self-reliant, aware of limits. Hero, big, strong, loyal, responsible. While our characters are initially introduced separately on a changed Earth, circumstances bring them together. Our hero recognizes his fated mate, but unfortunately specious issues are in play due to his personal experiences. A short time later, our hero has changed his mind. Upon finding his mate again, he throws her over his shoulder and leaves with her. Our heroine fights for the amount of time it takes to get to the village. She resigns herself to fate for the night, plans to leave the next day. Mating ensues, and the daddy kink hits the pages. What serves as a human hate group / vigilante justice group is the story's antagonist. This group drives the orcs to work together to resolve their specious issues. Strike 1. Hero doesn't listen to heroine about taking her against her will, leaving her home and only means of survival behind. I get this becomes an issue in the plot later, but it felt contrived to use this as a story development. Strike 2. Our heroine flips her position on a dime. She's perfectly content to play her role as mate, and completely loses her independent part of her personality. that makes her an individual, relatable, and even likable. Strike 3, the daddy kink came out of nowhere, sort of explained, totally overused for a novella. All of these issues are, of course, my own. It's also why I have a hard time with novellas. They are too short to build a world, create a good plot, or develop strong characterization that makes a reader not just like the character, but want to jump into their world and live. Sadly, this is not a series I will continue. 3 stars.
Okay. Whew.
It's a lot there, I know.
A little steamy. First and foremost, God, I hate the term fated mate. That just it gives me the willies.
Yeah, right. To imply that your fate is not to find your soulmate, but someone who you can breed with good, I think is the implication there, right?
Yeah, it's just gross.
There's no one on this world who can raw dog you quite like this. It's fate.
Birth my litter. Golly. People are into that. Everyone's into something, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're not shaming anyone. Everyone's got their thing, but this looks a little problematic in its application, I think. If we are to take Renee's
taking the
word
heroine against her will.
We don't like that.
Yeah, this is fiction, so some sort of interesting things can happen. But for her to
interesting
to submit to fate for the night.
So listen, fate. All right, you got me this time. Fate me once, shame on you. Fate me twice, shame on me. Fate me for the night, who cares? Sure. I've never, in my life, romantic or otherwise, I don't think I've ever submitted to fate for the night.
No, it's not something that's kind of temporary, is it?
No, I don't think I don't think, well, this is my fate.
Like, Jesus, take the wheel for 5 minutes, please. I'll be right back.
Maybe I've, worked a job 1 or 2 days before realizing this is the opposite of what it is for me. But my sort of thinking there wasn't I'm submitting to fate temporarily. I'm going to give this a shot, but it didn't work out.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's hard to relate to.
It's not really. Oh my goodness! I was kidnapped by a man who wants to sex me up, all beastie style. Let's see how this plays out. Just for the night. Yeah, I'm not really for it, but what's just for the night? Why not? Ugh.
I'm a go with the flow guy. I'm a have a worldly experience type beat enjoyer. I want new and fun things to come my way. I want to see something come my way, and I want to be a yes man. But sometimes you gotta be the no man. Sometimes, whether it be fate or just somebody being weird, you gotta say nah. And we like our heroines in our fiction too.
We do.
To put that on display for everyone to learn from, definitely. Yeah.
Do we have anything more on that
I don't know. I thought the double entendre of our heroine flips her position on a dime was pretty funny. Though I don't think it was on purpose.
Okay. I really love the point of novellas not being able to flesh out full stories and worlds and things like that.
Doesn't that hurt?
I have read a full novel that didn't really flesh out. I'm pretty sure I've talked about it, maybe not on the show, but I've talked about how much I hated, like, it was a super cool concept. Like, there's these aliens or something, and they're mirroring, like, our hero. They slowly turn into look exactly like him or other people. and you got to kill the doubles, but there's more and more doubles popping up. It's really weird. But there's this lady double who looks like him, but a girl. And the whole time he's like, she's me, but she's fine. And on top of nothing really being explained, it's like, oh, outer space mummies at the end. He didn't even kiss his lady self.
He didn't even give in to fate for the night.
He didn't give in to fate for the night. For all the sweat down her chest and the sweat on the beer. For all that, he's like,
And the flip side of that point, I've read flash fiction that builds a beautiful world that I want to jump into in a mere paragraph. You know what I mean?
Seriously, short story artists, writers, whatever they want to be called, can craft some wonderful worlds very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And other people can make money writing shifter romances.
There's no shifting here, sadly. It would have been more interesting if the orc could turn into a human, turn into an orc.
Oh well, wasn't fated.
Yeah, well, we just get to swoop in. Oh, before I guess I'll leave this unsavory. Well, the review was savory for the unsavory product. The third book, and this is called All in a Day's Orc. Good night, everybody. See you after the break.
Hey everybody, thank you for listening to our lovely little podcast. If you'd like to go above and beyond in supporting our show, or have the most fabulous conversation starter since sliced bread, go to reviewparty.com. Click on shop and explore some fabulous t-shirt designs.
Where's your favorite place to wear a t-shirt?
On my body.
Mine is at the store.
That is a good place to wear a t-shirt. Reviewparty.com. Click shop.
Why stop there?
Don't stop now.
Don't stop me now, because I'm buying a t-shirt. I'm buying a shirt.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second half of the episode, and welcome to Reviewer Redux. Welcome back.
Who we got?
We got a man by the name of Alex Falcone. Okay. He wrote a review for New Year's Eve, the DVD movie, that sounds like this. A deadly spore infects a group of 42 New Yorkers, forcing them to care about New Year's Eve. More than seems reasonable. 1 star.
Great review.
Great review. Very concise. Very, very simple. Apparently, he writes a lot more when he's not reviewing a movie, but reviewing a book. This is a very bookish episode. So here is a review from Alex, who his Amazon little profile tells me that he is a comedian in Portland, Oregon. And there's a picture of him eating a donut, as all comedians do.
I remember a Mad TV, what do they call it? Commercial stitch? The little B-roll they do before and after commercials. And then sometimes they'd consider, I don't know. You know how they, on SNL and sketch comedy shows, they'll show the actors with a bunch of crazy camera angles and then maybe end on them smiling in a picture-in-picture by their name or something. Mad TV would do that, except it would also have them talking. It would have them riffing on something. And I think it was Phil Lamar. Oh, I'm going to feel so bad if it wasn't. Who's on Mad TV?
I think he was.
I think he was. I'm going to say it was Phil Lamar, but that might just be because I like Phil Lamar and he was on Mad TV. But he was eating a donut and he said, donut. That's where comedy comes from. All comedy is made of sugar and fat.
Hey, Alex knows. I also just went to I Googled Alex, and he does have a alexfalcone.ninja is his website. His about section, but who is this handsome comedy boy? He's the author of a best-selling young adult romance novel about a mummy called Unwrap My Heart that Publishers Weekly called Unfortunate. So,
a man after our own heart, perhaps.
Yeah, might be our kind of guy. Here's his review of The Mediterranean Caper, Dirk Pitt Adventure. Titles his review, A Main Character So Sexist You'll Root for the Nazis. And he writes, The Mediterranean Caper is the first adventure book to feature the porny named Dirk Pitt. He's a fixer for the National Underwater and Marine Agency, a fictional government branch concerned with strange fish. If that doesn't scream action hero, just wait until you hear him describe his scuba gear. Every piece of marine equipment is so lovingly described, this caper reads like a novel serialized in the pages of Diver magazine. Dirk, the Aqua Hitman, is investigating some mysterious nonsense on a boat in the Greek Isles that has been searching for a fish with feet. Completely on accident, he gets wrapped up in an investigation into a drug smuggling, human trafficking, former Nazi officer. I know what you're thinking. Isn't that too many bad traits for a villain? Of course. But it's really helpful to make the villain really super duper villainous, because then you don't have to feel bad when he and his henchmen get shot. Despite his terrible habit of being a Nazi king in disguise, our bad guy is still less sexist than Dirk Pitt. In Chapter 2, early on, so you know what's what, Dirk meets a woman on the beach. Within 10 minutes, he slapped her for crying over her dead husband. Within 11 minutes, they're having sex on the beach in broad daylight. This is not okay. If you strike a woman, no matter how long it's been since her husband's passing, you do not get to have sex with that woman. Immediately after sex, Dirk looks at his conquests and asks, why is it women always seem so shy and demure before they've been laid, yet so sparkling and carefree after?
Excuse me?
So he's into domestic violence, and he is just brimming with insight into the female condition. But does that mean Dirk disrespects all women, or just women who are crying about the death of their husbands whom he's just boned on the beach? Let's drop him in front of his secretary and see what he says. Quote, he moved slowly over to a well-bosomed blonde, enjoying the view. Good start. Now jump ahead to the part where you talk to her, Mr. Pitt. Okay, dear heart. You get up off your well-rounded little bottom and ... Enough. I get it. You're a piece of shit. I'm going to root for the Nazi. After some sneaking and shooting, some more descriptions of diving gear, and a classic long-winded villain speech that explains the whole plot of the book, Dirk rides off into the sunset with the woman he struck for crying about her husband dying. I can't emphasize enough how much this upsets me. I'm sure this book would be fun for a 14-year-old boy who hasn't been taught how to treat women, or maybe a scuba diver who wants to feel like a hero and is comfortable skimming whenever a female character shows up. But if you aren't one of those, you should skip it. 1 star.
The funniest thing is it feels like it's written as though, in the long run, he did her a favor by striking her across the face.
God.
You know, that set fate in motion. She for more than
trapped.
just
She was
the night.
stuck.
That was the moment, you know. You know how every action, a bunch of different timelines sprout from it? Oh,
Absolutely.
there was only one sprouting from that strike, and that was marriage.
Oh, golly.
These days, you don't get on one knee, men, to ask your woman to marry her. You get on 5 fingers. You know what I'm saying?
And then you bone her on the beach.
And then, boner on the beach.
I'm only going to do one more review because Alex writes a lot. But this is another book review, this time for Divergent. I haven't read these, and I've seen only clips of the movies.
I know a little bit about the movies.
Yeah, which means this should be perfect for us.
Right.
Alex titles his review, it's like The Hunger Games, but more complicated. He writes, if you like The Hunger Games, but thought it needed more rules, You're going to love Divergent. The debut novel from Veronica Roth, Divergent imagines a future after a great war. The only way to restore peace is to divide humanity up into 5 death frats, named after SAT words. People join them by having only one personality trait. Brave people join Dauntless, where they jump off trains and punch each other. Smart people join Erudite, where they wear glasses. Amish people join Abnegation, where they don't eat hamburgers. And the other two are both Hufflepuff. I'm sure that's a burn on whatever they are. But as a Hufflepuff, I'm like, okay, enough hate. In the extremely rare situation where somebody has 2 personality traits, I have glasses and don't eat hamburgers, or I play baseball and football, they are, quote, divergent, a Latin word meaning too cool for school. But wait, you say, how do you figure out which frat to join? I'm glad you asked. Pledge Week in dystopian Chicago consists of a hallucination where you have to choose between a knife and cheese with no other instructions. Then a dog attacks you. If you choose the knife, you are dauntless. If you choose the cheese, you're not. Isn't that cool? That's all it takes. You either want a knife or you want cheese, and that decision confines you to a single death frat for the rest of your life. That's their nearly foolproof system, knife or cheese. Maybe I'm not divergent, I'm just lactose intolerant. Eventually, the smart people use the brave people to kill the Amish people, and only a teenage girl with 2 different interests can save them all, with her boyfriend, and something about a hard drive that controls humanity, presumably connecting to a USB 27.0. Anyway, it doesn't make much sense, but expect a million more books about dystopian futures where kids kill each other because Hunger Games sold faster than a gray tunic in an abnegation camp. 1 star.
See... You know, in this particular future, the war must have wiped out all the people from Wisconsin. Because they would have took the knife and the cheese and made themselves a little charcuterie.
Oh, yeah. And they probably pet that dog. Hey, come here, buddy.
Yep, just a whole state full of divergents. No, it would be worse than being a divergent is a dead virgin.
Well, yeah.
Because then
you can't accept fate even for a night.
Right. And you're,
What if you were someone's fated mate and you died?
But what are they supposed to do, huh? What's the big deal? Wow, real selfish of you.
Okay. So I went back to Alex's website and I scrolled to the bottom. It says, what people are saying about me. Yeah. So this guy doesn't fuck, and that's attributed to Reddit, where 12-year-olds accuse everybody of virginity. Good stuff. Good stuff. He's a funny guy.
Yeah, I would Letterboxd. I would love to go scroll through a letterbox to buy that man.
Well, he may appear again because he's got more book reviews out the waz. Lengthy and detailed. But that's all. Thanks for returning, Mr. Falcone.
Was a pleasure. Here, as long as we're talking about stories, books, movies, let's keep going. Why not? We rarely do a theme episodes outside of holidays. Sorry, Valentine's. Looks like we're missing you.
Yeah.
But, hey, this would be a great movie to watch on Valentine's Day, not? Oh. I got a review from Amazon for The Emoji Movie by TJ Miller. Welcome back to the show, Mr. Miller. Loved your Yelp reviews.
Shame. Yeah.
Hated your Emoji Movie. That apparently was all you. We'll attribute it to that and your bucket of shame. Joshua Montgomery said about The Emoji Movie, a still do funny, expressive, watchable.
Oh.
Don't know what that means.
Go on.
Despite the low approval rating of 6%, thou box office gain was good. And this movie, I still think, is watchable. It is in its own way, has humor, and storyline's still pretty decent with characters, and the rest is fair average. It's a film still on the list to watch often sometimes. Besides, there are a lot of other films that make me think that are worse than this. A movie with similarities to Inside Out #3, Toy Story film series #2, the Wreck-It Ralph film series #1, and B-Movie #4. Emoji Movie is #5. Well, Lego Movie, nah, too kiddie. 4 stars.
Yeah, okay. So most of that read as if like someone were writing script for a video game or a visual novel where there are multiple answerable choices and branching conversation paths, but it's just reading all of the choices in order. Good to watch sometimes often.
You'll get 3 options that are abbreviated. It'll be, someone will say, "What are you doing here?" And the answers will be like, "Punch face," or "Oh, here's my security ID," or "Eat a pizza." And then you click on one and it elaborates. But here it's just listing a bunch of those abbreviated
it's all
options.
smooshed together. It's, what did you think of the movie? Fair, good, B-list.
Well, I think what we can garner, we can translate out of this, definitely in concrete, are his top 5 favorite animated movies, of which Lego Movie is too kiddie for.
Nah.
These are very mature movies.
Yeah, because Legos are toys.
Legos are toys for babies, but Toy
Story?
Stories...
Toys for big kids.
Big kids. There's army guys and Buzz Lightyears in that one.
But honestly, one of the most cogent, coherent things that happen in the middle, there are worse movies that still make me think. Like that is actually a valid statement. I'm getting a lot from that.
No, I think, besides there are a lot of other film which make me think are worse than this, I think they're trying to say...
Okay, maybe I misinterpreted.
Yeah, my translation, not reading again, your translation might be valid. It depends, there's an invisible period. But
somewhere.
I would translate it as, of the movies I watch a lot, there are a lot I could think of that are worse than this. Something like that.
I'm giving him too much credit.
You thought, that advanced thought. Yeah, I'm not sure if it has a place here.
I hoisted up the benefit of the doubt backpack. I said, I got this for you, but I'm putting it back on the ground where it belongs.
So there's a lot of, but there is, to your earlier point, there's a lot of contrasting information here. They call the movie the movie they think is still watchable. That's such a middling take to have, and yet it's their top 5 favorite animated movies, and yet they give it a 4-star. And yet Lego Movie, which is probably better than at least half of his top 5, objectively, I don't give a shit, is just not even in the running. It's not even considerable because it's too kiddie. I could show you a lot of grown men who will weep tears at a Lego Movie, kiddie or not. That shit is a baller. Yeah, it just hurts to see this worldview, doesn't it?
It is quite the worldview. Like, it literally hurts to try and put myself in that point of view.
There's people out there thinking that Emoji Movie's better than Lego Movie.
Well, I haven't seen either, so who am I?
Lego Movie's gangster, dude. Are you ready to cry some tears?
Am I?
Oh, well, if you cry tears over the Lego Movie, I'll slap you, so give me another review.
All right, I guess since I can't judge things that I haven't actually enjoyed, here is another oddly instance of someone judging something that they maybe haven't enjoyed. I have a review from rateyourmusic.com.
Okay.
That's right. Somebody went out to collect some fresh reviews for the first time in I don't know how long. This is a CD review of the soundtrack from Sonic R.
Ooh.
Which, of course, is the Sonic racing game where even though they're fast, they're in cars instead of
It's
running.
the newer Sonic racing game where they're in cars.
Right. No, I don't think it's the Can You Feel that one?
Can you feel the sunshine? That one. I think they do be booking it in that one. They do be on foot. The new one there in the racers. Amy and Tails, I think, have cars.
Then I'm just a dingus. This is the review that comes from Kirsten Dunst Official, which I'm sure is legit. It's got a picture of her and everything.
Sure.
Kirsten Dunst Official writes, I love when TJ Davis smiles down on me, hand outstretched like mercy. Her smile is so warm. When she lifts me, it feels like fresh air or a glass of cold water. When it goes down all nice, you know? She brings me to her home, one made of plastic palm trees and checkerboard loop-de-loops. I know I should feel homesick, but this new world embraces me like one of their own, finger wagging on the title screen. I've never played Sonic, excluding that one iPhone game, but dear Richard Jacques makes me feel like I've been eating, sleeping, and breathing that blue hedgehog. Music for smiles, music for summer desserts, but also music for sweat, music for competition. It's a kind competition, though. Like after the race, we all meet up to go see a movie, something about action, probably. I'm sure one day I'll probably cry to one of these songs, even though I've never played Sonic, excluding that one iPhone game. But it's not going to be a sad cry, just a cry that was happy for Sonic R existing. I've never played Sonic, but Richard and TJ make me feel like I've been best friends with him for years and years and years. 5 stars.
Can you feel the sunshine? Does it brighten up your day?
Don't you
something?
I don't know anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know either. I've watched a lot of Donkey, but not enough to know that one.
Can You Feel the Sunshine? Song by TJ Davis.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of...
Look at me.
Of the bad games with fantastic soundtrack, if you had to list them all, I think Sonic might make up half of that list.
Also good games with good soundtracks. Sonic's up there.
Yeah, Sonic's on there a couple times too. That's what's wild about Sonic. I can't think of a Sonic game with a bad soundtrack. I know there is one. I know that BioWare Sonic RPG for the DS has got some weird tunes. But I'm pretty sure, I haven't played the game, but I'm pretty sure those are weird on purpose from what I've seen of it. I'm pretty sure most of the music's good, but maybe not. Maybe that's your section.
Okay, I'm smiling and I'm about to drop it because I remembered a rant that I had in my brain recently. Like, you see those dang TikToks and whatnot, and it's like, bro, they didn't have to go this hard on this song for like the Mentos commercial. Or, dude, what was... what were they thinking with this Tarzan soundtrack? Dude, he didn't have to go that hard. Phil Collins, you're going so hard. Like, you serious? You're being paid money by Disney or by the Mentos Corporation to sell something?
Sure.
You're gonna do your job well.
Yeah,
Why is it so surprising that they did a good job? We're not talking about, dude, they went so basic on that Inspector Gadget theme song. They didn't have to go so sucky. No one talks about all the times they went so sucky.
Yeah.
A lot of times, they're all trying to go hard. They're trying to go hard every time.
So what you're saying is any reasonable artist, given the opportunity...
To go hard,
to have some sort of financial security, that should allow them to go the hardest.
Go accept fate for all nights.
I kind of agree with you. I think, if someone gave me a fat bankroll and said, make a good podcast, I'd probably make a pretty damn good podcast.
I think so, yeah.
A lot better than the slop we're hucking out every week.
House of Mouse comes calling. They're like, hey, we kind of want to put something together, classic animation, maybe a little Phil Collins. What are you thinking? You think I'm going to phone it in?
Right.
Be like, I've already got it made. I'm already accomplished. Even if I am, go hard.
I'm no singer, but given the opportunity, to perform it could be my big break. I'm gonna try and put some stank on it, brother.
Put a little sauce on it, please. And if
I'm
it turns out
this is gonna be heard by some people. Let me get out the sauce just for you. You want to give me a check? One check from you gives 1 gallon of sauce from me at least.
And sometimes, even with the best of intentions, even with everything you got, trying to go hard, it's just so.
Sometimes the harder the swing, the harder you miss. That's just life. That's unfortunate.
No one asks why did you go so? Mm-hmm. But turns out you were trying to go hard and you fumbled the hog, man.
You would like to reply all to the, why did Phil Collins go so hard on this Tarzan soundtrack? You would
because
just like
his
to
job.
Reply with a screenshot of the check he received for that Tarzan soundtrack.
I want the check. Phil Collins, he's got a little eggie in a basket and he's like, I paid for this.
Yep, he's enjoying an eggie in a basket and just looking at his check. And thinking about all the sauce he's about to make.
Just, no artist wants to create something not memorable.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, I think there's very few artists that are getting by on trying to make something purely for the commercial gains, right? The money is obviously there, a motivator, but it's they don't get the money and say, gonna lay a turd here. They're gonna say, most artists are gonna say, I'm gonna show what I can do. I'm gonna put some stank on it.
You know what's gonna get me another job? By being completely, plain Jane. No, put the stank on it.
Yeah, Phil Collins
slap it with the stank, even if its husband died 10 years ago.
It's the great cycle of stank. All right, Phil Collins, he found a formula to make some stank. All right, and instead of just letting the stank run its course, luckily he was privileged and lucky enough to receive some monetary gains for his stankiness, which then allowed him to have the time and security in his life to get even stankier.
He's got a whole case of stank.
And in your mind, it's just the natural occurrence of things.
Natural occurrence of an artist. You're sitting there and your stank case is just filling up like Monsters, Inc. here. It's filling up and off comes Disney. Hey, we kind of want some stank. What do you got? You pour that stank on the table.
Well, you know what, Disney? Now that you mention it, it's funny you ask. So I've been cooking up some stinky stank right over here.
I got some tall boys full of stank over here. And
I see your artists over there making a guy grind on some trees, doing some sort of sonic.
They didn't have to go so hard with the Tarzan design of tree grinding.
The tree grinding sequence garners, as amazing as the soundtrack is, garners even more, let's say, stank appreciation than that album.
The rankest stank.
Rosie O'Donnell's voice acting performance. She didn't have to put that much stank on being a baby gorilla.
She did it.
And she did it anyway. Well, I just looked at my stank container over there, and I think I ran out for the week, unfortunately.
Yeah. Maybe
I'll just have one more spurt of stank to finish us out at the end. But before that, thank you, listener. Thanks for listening to reviewparty.com. We are an independent podcast. It's just me and Matt cooking this little bitch up every week. This not getting a big bankroll for this stank, and yet we provide it.
Not getting much bankroll for this stank roll.
But that's okay, because we have fun. I hope you all had fun. We got new stanky episodes every Tuesday. That's right. # Tuesday Reviews Day. If you'd like to send in a stanky review for us to, sort of appreciate the stank over, send the stank to reviewparty.com @gmail.com. Include your stinky name so we can throw you some stinky credit.
Or if you want to use a nom de plume of stank, go for that.
Sure.
If you want to reach out to Dr. Stink.
Yeah, this Amazon review is brought to us by Dr. Stink. Thank you, Dr. Stink.
If you want to reach out to us in the fun ways of the day, you can find us at reviewparty.com on Instagram and TikTok, and at reviewpartypod on Twitter. If you want to like plumb the depths of possible stank, you can go on reviewparty.com, where we've got all the episodes, all the listening platforms. Maybe you're listening on Acast right now, or Stitcher, or some other thing, and you're like, it's
Acast,
time.
Bcast.
I need something with a little extra funk in its junk. I'm gonna try Pod Knife, for instance. It's there. As well as our blog, where reviews are always written about in some way, shape, or form. Our shop, where there's some stink and stank, and there's just a lot of blue on our website. If you're feeling like I need that comforting, cool color, you know where to find it. If you're looking for music,
yep, I remembered this week almost. I know some boys that are cooking up some serious stank. You might want it for breakfast. They also have bread for breakfast. That's the song you've heard throughout the episode.
I only eat Cheerios.
By Nosebleeds. Thanks for letting us use your song, boys. You can, if you liked Bread for Breakfast, you can find more of their great songs on Spotify. Just search Nosebleeds, one word. Hey, I got a little bit of stink. I found some stink sort of pressed up to the side of the bottom of the container here. I scraped it off, and I want to share it with y'all. This is an Amazon review for Vicks Personal Steam Inhaler, or V12,000 Face Steamer or Inhaler with soft mask for targeted steam relief. Aids with sinus problems, congestion, cough. Used with soothing menthol Vicks Vapo pads. It's just sort of a steam machine you put your face in.
Sort of a Bane mask.
It's a deal. Bane mask, but it's instead of, I don't know what he pipes through there, but some hot Vicks Vapor Rub or something.
Nice.
This review is by Brina. She titles it Vaporized. She writes, works. 5 stars.
Like she vaporized. She's a murderer.